Yeah, I said it, we are. You can call me Caesar, in a dark Caesar. Please follow the leader. So Eric B, we are. Microphone fiend, it's the return of the. It ain't nobody fresher. I'm in Mason, Martin Margiela on the table screaming. The other side, they jealous. We got a banquet full of. They got a table full of fellas.
Life's a game, but it's not fair. I break the rules, so I don't care. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Allow me to reintroduce
And we've been waiting for this day for a long time. It's opening day in the NBA. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here in the start of a new season. Along with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. What an exciting game. Opening night in the NBA. State Farm presents the starting lineup. First for the Mavericks, Allison is out there with Mayo. And holding down the middle out of Central Michigan University, the skilled and ambidextrous 7-footer, Chris Heeman. Then there's Marion, and it's Nowitzki in at the 4 slot. And then for the Los Angeles Lakers, the star-studded backcourt of Nash and Kobe. And at center, the most dominant physical presence in the NBA, the elite defensive big man, Dwight Howard. Then there's world peace, and it's Gasol in at the 4 spot.
I tell you, last year was an interesting season for the Dallas Mavericks. I thought Rick Carlisle did his best to parse out minutes and try to get guys rest. He did have an older roster, particularly with guys like Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, Vince Carter. But it was a tough thing to overcome. They never really could build the momentum that they had found in years prior.
So Dallas will get the first possession. Collison against Nash. Here's Collison. Here's Mayo. Gasol with the defensive effort. Back to the Mavs a second. You know, when you have a team like that is aging, you know, you put them in a compacted season, a lot of games in a very short window, that normally would not bode well for them.
No, it wouldn't, and they'll play more games this year, but overall I think they'll be better off with more days to rest in between. As a matter of fact, I would love to see the length of the season go back to normal, but the games stay at 66-7.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be awesome.
You'd have great practices, better coaching, fresher athletes. I mean, even the commissioner agreed with you there.
I think that would be awesome if somehow you could make that happen.
Nash against Collison. He kicks it to Kaman. All sorts of time. The shot's good. Collison making the play.
The first bucket for this offense. 1 of 4 to start the game.
On defense, the Mavericks. Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
A short time ago, Mike D'Antoni and I were able to catch up. Coach told me that he knows they have a tough assignment in Dirk Nowitzki. We talked about what makes Dirk so difficult to defend against, and he pointed to Dirk's ability to hit jumpers when he is seemingly completely off balance, saying, it'll look like he's falling over, then he just turns and flips the ball in. I know I've seen Dirk do that on more than one occasion, guys.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris. And Marion gets it to go.
And Rick Carlisle, head coach of the Mavericks, actually coached previously in Detroit and Indiana. And, you know, he won the Coach of the Year in his very first season as a head coach, 2002 with Detroit.
Good on the shot.
Yeah, he's so focused, so concentrated with his effort. And it takes a great defender to bother him. And even then, when he contests a shot, he still has a knack for making them.
He's got plenty of sweetener in his game, a little flair in his package. Not a guy you have to call a play for. He can size you up and take you apart.
And going back to Rick Carlisle's time in Detroit, he'd gotten them as far as the conference finals in his second season, but was shown the door just right with their championship here in 2004.
Yeah, the Pistons won the title the next year, so a move that obviously was justified, but A strange move nonetheless. Rick Carlisle had plenty of success, but that's the NBA. Coaches get blamed for everything, and to Carlisle's credit, he just moved on, kept working, and has had tremendous success ever since.
Free throw no good for Howard.
Staples Center was just an unwelcoming venue all around last season, and the Lakers did their part by defending the home court not only with pride, but passion, too.
Lakers always tough, as you mentioned, Clark, here at home, and last year, no different. Ended up 26-7 here inside the Staples Center. Was a big part, Steve, of why they were able to win the Pacific Division.
Well, any team that is a serious championship contender, Kevin, is going to control its home floor. And the Lakers, despite the fact that they lost in the conference semifinals, they were a contender, and they controlled their home floor pretty much all season long. You know, the Lakers weren't quite as dominant as they were in 2010-11, but it wasn't because of how they played against the West. They really did a nice job against their conference rivals.
Now, here's Collison, following the miss by Steve Nash. Here's Mayo. Back to Collison. The pass to Marion. From 8 feet away, he drops it in. 32-16 was their end mark of the season against the West. The Lakers certainly showed they can play with every team that was a contender out there, and they were tough, but it just at the end, it just did not come together.
Well, nonetheless, winning 2 out of every 3 games you play in conference action is a good recipe for finishing near the top of the standings. The Lakers would have loved to have been that #1 seed, but they didn't get it. It wasn't because of how they played in the West, though.
It was, I think, the 3rd seed in the Western Conference, as it turned out. Kobe, that's good.
You're going to have a heck of a time finding any flaws in his approach to the game offensively.
And Dallas calls their first time out of the game. And, of course, this is the first they're seeing of the Lakers.
And having to see each other 4 times like these two will this season, I know they'd each like to make a statement in this first contest.
And it's a completely new group on the floor for the Mavericks. And we're just over 3.5 minutes into the first quarter. Brand. And that one's good. Brand's got his first bucket of the night. And as for the point Steve just made, Clark, do you think there is a little bit of added pressure in the first game of a season series of this length?
Well, you know what, Kevin? I think the first game in any series is the biggest and most important game. So from that standpoint, yes. But with 3 games to follow it, it certainly isn't make or break.
Teams always like to set a tone, don't they?
Yeah, you like to send a message if you can.
And the Mavericks with some changes. Sean Marion, he's checked in for Crowder. Mayo comes in for Roddy Bobo. And it's Collison in for James. Now here's Collison, looking for his first bucket of the game. Carter outside, 6 to shoot. From outside, off the mark. Lakers trailed by 6. Nash kicks to Kobe. The feed now to Gasol. He feeds it to Howard. Stolen by Brand. Collison against Gasol. 7-second difference. Shot and game clock. Gets it to go. Collison's got his first basket. Lakers have gotten 3 of 8 shots to fall for them here in the first quarter. Here's World Peace. Hits the jumper in space. Here is Collison. It's Vince Carter on the wing. Jacks up a 3. And it's Carter again missing. And so the first quarter is in the book.
Your Lakers,
Mavericks.
and the Mavericks. It's a Halloween broadcast of...
And welcome back. 2K Sports presentation of the NBA. What a season in store for us. And guys, what's your take so far on the Mavs?
Yeah, this team is on the same page, no question. They're right where they need to be offensively.
And they're hitting their scores with on-time and on-target passes, too. That's fun to watch.
Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Well, guys, I think it's accurate to call the Dwight Howard situation a saga, and it has, at least for the moment, calmed down. A trade to the Los Angeles Lakers has now thrust them squarely into the championship picture. First, the acquisition of star point guard Steve Nash, and now the best center in the league. The tough Western Conference just got tougher. Kevin?
The story of the offseason, no question. Thank you, Doris. Here's Clark. Meeks outside, and it's good. Meeks got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game.
Sometimes, Kevin, you can just look at a guy's release and immediately recognize that he's a born shooter. And that's the case with Meeks. Beautiful form, just has a natural way of getting that ball to go through the hoop.
Ever since his college days at Kentucky, he's one of the best shooters on the planet, and that hasn't changed. You just can't leave him alone anyplace.
You know, a lot of people predicted that the Mavericks defense would really collapse without Tyson Chandler last year after he left for New York as a free agent. But their defensive numbers were solid. They were really good. So the structure and the foundation that Rick Carlisle has built has been able to withstand some of those personnel losses.
Here's what the Lakers are going with right now. Dwight Howard, he's checked in for Hill. World Peace comes in for Earl Clark. Kobe's checked in for Meeks. And it's Duhan in for Steve Blake. Well, you look at the stats for the Mavs, Steve, and Dallas, the second best team in the West when it came to opponent field goal percentage. Mark, that's a very good mark for them.
Excellent mark, Kevin, and they've come a real long way from when the Mavericks were viewed as a team that only scores and doesn't really play anything. Rick Carlisle, one of the outstanding coaches in the league, really helped reshape them.
And as Steve said, that's including losing Chandler.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to still play good D.
That's right.
They double-team Kobe. Got a piece of it. Jamison dishes to Duhan. And again, it's the Lakers from deep.
9 straight points for them off of wide-open looks from deep. Something has to change for this deep.
Yeah, they're just giving up too many easy shots out there. They've got to close out harder, get a hand up, make him put it on the floor.
A different look for Dallas. Brandon Wright's checked in for Brand. Carter comes in for Crowder. And James subbed in for Roddy Bobois. Mayo kicks to James. Back to Mayo. Fires from deep. Gets it to go. Mayo's got 7 points.
He had no luck from the three-point line earlier, so maybe this one will give him some momentum.
Tried to answer back, but that three is off the mark. The Mavericks leading. They'll be off next to Utah for a meeting with the Jazz. That'll be the second of this 2-game road trip.
You know, some really good games going on today, guys, and the one that captures my eye is the Utah one.
Darren Collison, he's checked in for Dallas. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. And Chris Duhan picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. Outside Collison. Right side Mayo. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Over Howard.
It's been a struggle for him offensively tonight, and they'd love to have his production out there.
Well, O.J. Mayo stepping into the instant offense off the bench role for the Grizzlies last season, and it seemed to suit him quite well. I mean, a guy who can heat it up like that can hurt you from outside. And certainly a valuable part of their rotation, a guy that they counted on to produce points, and he did.
Yeah, very opportunistic defense there, leading to those points.
That's exactly what they'll do to you, Steve. They will pounce on your mistake.
Here's Collison. And there's a minute 45 left to play in the first half. Wright sets a screen for Collison. Here's Carter. Releases from the wing and drills it. Carter's got his second basket of the night. And you've got to give O.J. Mayo a lot of credit, Steve, accepting that bench role, not being a malcontent, and being a good team guy.
Yeah, former number 3 overall pick in the draft, but he showed that he's all about winning by accepting that role. And I think that's more important to teams than seeing whether a guy will start or not. Will he accept his role, and will he finish games? That's what Mayo did.
And so here is Dallas following the 3 by the Lakers. Carter kicks to right. Dallas moving the ball around. Carter outside. Fires for 3. The Lakers with the rebound.
Well, neither team has really gained an edge rebounding-wise here, and the score reflects that.
Well, if one team can start hitting the boards harder, I mean, it'll give them a good chance to pull away.
Now here's Collison, following the miss by Kobe Bryant. No dice from 9 feet out.
It's not necessarily a strong inside presence, but he needs to polish those chances off.
The jump hook, that drops, and it comes off an assist from Duhan. Duhan's got his third assist on the night. 4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Marion kicks to Collison. The dish to Mayo. Kicks it to right. DeMayo fires the 3. Gets it to go. Mayo's got 6 in the quarter.
Another open look, hits bottom from outside.
Yep, and that's 3 of their last 5 makes from beyond the arc.
Kobe kicks to Jamison. Back to Kobe. From past the arc. And that's not going to go. And that'll do it for the first half. Game time.
Your Lakers.
We'll see you back here after the break.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Welcome, everyone. Let's see if we can spice up your Tuesday. And now, before we send you back out to your game, let's take a look at your pick and win results from yesterday. And that'll do it. Let's get you out to the second half, about to start at Staples Center.
Thanks for tuning back in as we get back to the action here in this NBA opener.
Well, just take a look at what Kobe's done tonight. What a throwdown there. Man. Tearing that roof down with that one.
Yeah, and really a dunk contest dunk that time. Wow.
Yeah, unreal. What a dunk. You know, with the Lakers, it's all about winning titles. Anything else is considered a disappointment. And they were tested early, though.
And it's Meta World Peace with the foul. That's foul number 2 for him.
First team foul.
Lakers on D, trailing by 2. Collison kicks to Kaman. Go back to that matchup for the Lakers against Denver. Kobe's illness. He had the stomach flu, our chest out with the suspension. Meta World Peace, you know, had gotten the late regular season suspension with the elbow to the side of the head of James Harden. Steve, they were certainly facing their struggles.
Yeah, and those struggles caught up to them in the next round, Kevin, when they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the younger, more talented team winning in that one. So for the Lakers, you know, moving forward, they've got a lot of talent, but it's aging talent. And sooner or later, they're going to have to get younger on that roster.
Collison kicks to Mayo. Lets the 3 fly. Rebound by Meta World Peace. Lakers have gone 0-3 and are still looking for that first bucket here in the second half. Good.
A lot of the points they've given up have come on open threes like that one. And that has to be disconcerting and frustrating to their coach.
Well, they should know better. I mean, they read the scouting report. You can't leave these guys wide open on the perimeter.
Count the bucket. And the Mavericks lead by 1. Guys, we're not through 3 quarters of play, but 6 lead changes already in this one.
Yeah, it's been a really good game for sure. I mean, it looks like it's going to stay tight throughout.
Yeah, very competitive action. I agree with you, Clark. I mean, this one could come down in the last few minutes the way it looks.
Gasol kicks to Howard, and he lays it straight in. Howard's got his second bucket of the night.
You gotta love the low post offense. That was beautiful.
Nash against Collison. Pass to Marion. DeMayo. Outside Collison. Pocket 6. Mayo up top. Beyond the arc. Rebound by Meta World Peace. World Peace has got 3 rebounds so far in the game.
You know, one of the strongest players in the NBA, to me, has to be Meta World Peace, also known as the Artest, formerly known as Ron.
You like that, don't you, Clark? Huh?
Yeah, I like that play on words. I do like that play on words. But clearly, Ron, one of the strongest guys to have ever played.
Kobe gets the bucket.
Tell you what, he's draining the 3 ball at will, guys.
Yeah, he is, and they've got to find a way to get out there on him.
And the Mavericks call time here. And for Metta World Peace, some have said the name is a little ironic when you look at that elbow he threw that caught James Harden right in the head late last season in Los Angeles.
Well, throughout his career, we know Metta World Peace, formerly Ron Artest, has been very erratic. His issues off the court well chronicled, and he's made progress. There's no denying that. But with anybody that's had issues, whatever the compulsive behavior is, there are flare-ups and relapses. And that's what we saw with Ron, unfortunately. He's done a lot of good things. He won the NBA Citizenship Award, and deservedly so. So hopefully we won't see any more episodes like that James Harden elbow. That was hard to watch, Kevin.
For three, Kobe can't get it to go. Good work defensively by Carter. Mavericks have gone 3 of 6 in the third quarter, 50% from the field. Here's Nowitzki, and that is good. Nowitzki's got 6 points.
I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next one.
Ridiculous move. Tore it down that time.
Man, oh man, finishing with flavor.
Yeah, he put something extra on that one, you're right.
And the bench going wild, guys. They love it. What an amazing dunk. You know, guys, one of the reasons Dallas did not re-sign Tyson Chandler last year was they wanted to preserve some cap space. And they had Dwight Howard in mind, but Dallas has had to use their cap space elsewhere. But, you know, the key was just developing enough flexibility to give them a lot of different options. And I think that's always a factor for any NBA team.
The Lakers in the lead. This game is finished. They'll be off to Portland taking on the Trailblazers. That will be a getaway game for them, a one-game road trip. Nash against Beaubois. It's tipped. Marion with the steal.
Defensive foul.
The Mavericks shooting their third and fourth free throw shots of the night.
And they averaged about 77% from the free throw line a year ago. So this is a solid free throw shooting team.
Yeah, they had the kind of success from the line that would make any coach breathe a sigh of relief, guys.
Dallas, to me, Steve, always seems a team very mindful of upcoming free agents and cap space restrictions. One of the reasons why they made the moves last year. Even if Clark, they don't get a big name, they always seem to be in the mix somewhere.
Well, they're always hovering around, and I think it points to the savvy of the front office there, Kevin. I mean, and that's really what allows teams to be competitive over long periods of time. It's not just about the players you have and their talent, but it's how you acquire players and piece together your team.
They're very forward-thinking, aren't they?
Yeah.
Something has to change, guys. That's 10 straight points coming in the paint against this team.
Well, they got to collapse in there, and everybody's got to be conscious of it. It's a team effort in protecting the paint. Control the ball, and then everybody's got to get in there and keep the defense locked down.
A platoon swap here for the Lakers. And then for Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki, he's checked in for Kamen. And James subbed in for Darren Collison. James kicks to Nowitzki. And yes, sir, that one drops. Nowitzki's got 6 points in the quarter. Clark and Steve, neither side has relented a bit in this back-and-forth affair.
Well, 8 lead changes, Kevin, so far as the teams are battling it out here in the third.
And it's all building towards what could be a great finish. This will be fun to watch.
6 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. James kicks to Marion. Back to James. Carter. Three-pointer. And that one's good. Carter's got 8 points. Lakers trail by 3.
Good idea. Hold on to the ball. Take the last shot of the quarter.
Yep.
He dishes it to Clark. Dishes it to Blake. Launches a 3. And that one's good.
Unbelievable. 3-pointers for both sides in just a matter of seconds.
Now I think it's a matter of them just trying to top each other.
Here's James. No good, trying to beat the buzzer. That's the end of the third, and it's all tied up. And we're coming.
Tune in.
Well, welcome back as we get set to start the fourth. Who's at the Sprite uncontainable game in this one? Let's go to Doris Burke.
Thanks, Kevin. And it's the Lakers with the Uncontainable Game Award for the offensive stretch they put together. It didn't take long for them as they were on the mark early and never faltered. Give them credit credit for controlling the game from the opening tip and being in the driver's seat now as we head to the final period.
Doris, thank you. That was quite a run they had. Quite exemplary of what we think of when we think about that turning point. Definitely a Sprite, uncontainable game moment.
Yeah, you won't get any argument from me, Kevin. It was as big a factor in this game as anything. You know, when a team builds up that much momentum, it just becomes so hard to turn the tide back around.
Yeah, Steve, they just kept the throttle down. They sensed an area of weakness and then just continued to exploit it, never letting up.
Boy, they almost tied it up with that shot.
Boy, they're this close here in the fourth quarter, scrapping back into it.
And there's the call on Howard. That's foul number 2 for him. Vince Carter, he's checked in for Elton Brand. Collison against Nash. Outside Collison. Now here's Mayo, covered by World Peace. 2 on the clock. Shot by Mayo is no good. The Lakers trail. Kobe kicks to World Peace. That's in, coming off an assist by Kobe.
Both of these teams have really stepped it up offensively.
You know what, Steve? They haven't missed a chance, and I think both teams really know what's at stake on every possession here.
Kobe with the steal. A finish. Finishes the freak with a slam.
That was a dynamic two-hand dunk there.
Right in the face of the defender.
That was a tough, gritty finish. Well, there's some very popular destinations for free agents around the league. Chicago, New York, Miami. But for me, the Lakers are still the premier market for players. You know, big city, a history of winning with the Laker organization, and fantastic weather, of course.
Marion passes to Mayo. That is good.
What a great game. This looks like it's going to go right down to the wire.
Well, you talk about what happens in close games. Mistakes are magnified. Both teams have to be very careful down the stretch here.
Gasol dishes to Nash. Pass to Jamison with the lead pass. And Kobe throws it down hard.
Pretty significant laps there on the defensive end, guys.
Yeah, those are the ones you just can't allow them.
No, if you're giving up dunks and layups defensively, you're in huge trouble.
And we're about 2 minutes into the fourth quarter now. And Steve, to follow up on your point, the whole aspect of Hollywood has always been a big lure for the Lakers as far as recruiting large free agents.
We've seen it over the years with all the big names they've gotten to sign in free agency. No doubt about it, the Lakers are still one of those destination teams for a lot of players in the league.
Well, Dirk is just so good at the offensive end of the floor, Kevin. The ability to shoot over the top of people. He's added so many things to his game, too. Post-ups, getting to the rim, being aggressive, and going to the foul line. Dirk Nowitzki, a first-ballot Hall of Famer, no question.
Most definitely, Steve. This guy has been phenomenal throughout his career, and very few situations.
Look out, man!
I tell you what, you need to archive that one for the highlight tape.
Oh, yeah, that is a keeper. You're correct.
Man, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And those plays will give your team a huge boost.
Mavericks trailed by 3. Dallas calls timeout.
He's been aggressive looking for a shot, but without much success. It might be time for him to take a step back and look to help the team in other ways.
And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Kevin, over that last break, I got a chance to hear what Rick Carlisle said to his team. The three-pointers obviously have been hurting them, and he told his players, we've simply got to play them tighter on the perimeter. We can't afford to give them these wide-open looks. Kevin?
A little over 2.5 minutes have passed here in the fourth quarter. Here's Mayo.
I tell you what, guys, his struggles from the field have definitely taken their toll on the team today.
Good work defensively by Gasol. The shot is up, and it's Dallas the other way. They push it up, 4 on 3. Collison kicks to Marion. Kaman lets it go from the baseline and nails it. Kaman's got 4 this quarter.
smart. Use that big height advantage. Get the shot off.
Well, it's hard to put a big man on him, Steve, that far from the hoop. I mean, he's versatile.
And fouled as he went up to the dunk. Good aggressive move, and he'll shoot two.
And we're seeing the Mavericks unable to defend against Howard.
He's got 10 points and 1 assist.
Gets the first, and that will put them up by 2. And he can't convert on the second. That misses.
Well, a semi-productive trip to the line in the end, but we'll see how costly that miss is.
So it's the Mavericks now. Feeds it to Nowitzki. Back to Collison. He kicks to Nowitzki. Working on Gasol. Nowitzki, no good.
Defense got away with one there. I mean, usually he'll hurt you if you give him that kind of a shot.
And the shot is good.
Way too much time and space on that. He'll make that one all the time.
Well, it's a warm-up jumper, Steve, the kind that you can knock down still to this day. You're one of the best all-time three-pointers we've had in the NBA. But you've got to at least run at a guy and try to challenge and distract his shot.
Mayo, the pass to Collison. Off the pick from Kaman. It's Mayo on the wing. Guarded by Kobe. Shot by Mayo is no good. Lakers leading by 5. On the pass to Kobe. There it is. It's Nash picking up the assist.
Well, that's a nice, efficient work, guys, that he's been doing. I mean, we haven't seen him take many bad shots, and that's the sign of a mature, poised player.
Nowitzki dishes to Kaman. Good D by Howard.
Great job defending the hoop there.
So important to have good presence defensively inside.
Can't get it to go.
So hard not to go for him when you see that chance with the alley-oop.
Then he wishes he hadn't, though. Ammonia strong finish right there, partner. You hear me? That was ammonia strong.
Yeah, ripped it down with 2 hands.
That's about as high percentage as you can get.
Gasol kicks to Nash. And Nash gets double teamed. Out of bounds, Dallas will take possession.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
And the Mavericks call time here. They're losing by 5. 27 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Seconds left in the fourth quarter. Marion. Yes! What a beautiful shot to bring them to within 3. What a difference in this crowd right now, Clark.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
What a huge play. And they add to this lead, trying to close this game out.
I think it would take a lot of luck and maybe then some. I mean, might be time to pack this thing in.
Not much time to work with. They need a basket here.
Yep, they've got to get a steal or foul to stop the clock.
Collison kicks to Merritt. Good!
Got to be very careful with this team. They can be really strong inside if they get good position.
Well, you give up that kind of deep position, Steve, you're done. It's over.
Well, you do what you have to do to extend this game and try to get the ball back.
In this situation, clock management crucial.
So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 5-point game.
That's how you finish it off. Knock them all down and chalk up the W.
Here's Nowitzki. Buries it. In low to Howard. From 10 feet out. Money!
Well, he's smart. He's getting good shots, and he's knocking them down.
Sends up a prayer. Oh, no good! And so the Lakers take the win. They came, they saw, they conquered.
Hey, Kevin, to me, any win is a good win.
Well, that'll do it. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time.